What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad Sean, and today reactions to the classics. We are nearing the end of our series ranking each Beatles song on every record in chronological order. We're switching things up. We're going in the order it was recorded, so that is why Let It Be is up today, and we will tee up the conclusion for Abbey Road next time. So looking forward to this one. Only 12 tracks, Dad, and I actually found this to be one of the easier ones to rank.
Yeah, it was the easiest one by far for me to rank. Little quick info. Came out May 8th, 1970, shipped 3.7 million advance orders in the U.S., the highest ever in the U.S. at that time, went to number one in the U.S. and the U.K. And 3 singles were released before the album ever came out: Get Back, Don't Let Me Down, and Let It Be. It was the 12th album in their chronology, but as you mentioned, it was recorded before Abbey Road. That's why we're doing it this way. Quick concept behind the album. Originally, they filmed everything at Twickenham. That's where they were going to record everything. Paul wanted to go back to the roots. He wanted to have a concert film that was recorded while they were performing all of these songs, and that didn't work out too well, Trey. They hadn't performed together live in a long time. The rehearsals were really tough. A few days in, him and McCartney and Harrison got into an argument. And then 4 days later, McCartney and Lennon get into an argument because by this time, John just wanted to be around Yoko. Some people say it came to blows. They kind of deny it. They end up getting Harrison back, but they leave Twickenham. They abandon the Get Back, which is what it was originally going to be called because of the movie. They abandon that. They go to their own studios, Apple Core. They had a recording studio in the basement, and they record it that way. A couple other issues. McCartney invited in Glenn Johns. Glenn came in and said, I thought I was a producer. Then George was there, so I didn't know what to do. So he didn't really know his role. But later on, after they record the whole thing, Glenn John goes back and mixes it and gives them an acetate, and nobody liked it. So in March 1970, Phil Spector's brought in by their manager at the time, Alan Klein. We'll get into Alan in a few minutes. Some say Harrison was in on it too. He came in, remixed stuff. Some stuff he made better, Trey. Some stuff I think he made nonsense. McCartney signed off on it originally, and then it was one of the reasons why he left the Beatles, or gave the reasoning why he left the Beatles. Many of you like the Let It Be Naked better. That came out in 2003. It removes basically all of Spector's stuff, or a lot of it.
No, and I definitely prefer the Let It Be Naked.
So
and
do I.
I think a lot of fans do, but hey, man, it wasn't the version that was released back in the day.
We're going the version that was released, Trey. So I don't think 12 and 11 going to be too tough here, my man, but you want to kick this thing off?
No, why not? Well, my 12 and 11 are going to be 12 with Maggie May, and then 11 with Dig It. The 2 snippets, less than a minute. Maggie May didn't really need to be there. Dig It, I like the shout out to old B.B. King and Doris Day, but, I don't think they really added too much to this record.
Not at all. I just went opposite. I went Dig It, who's credited to all the Beatles, and then I went Maggie May. Dig It was just from a jam session they were doing for 15 minutes to warm up, and it was recorded, and our boy Phil decided to put it on here. So mine are just opposite of yours, Dig It and Maggie May. My number 10 for you, Blue.
Same here, man.
By George. He was kind of inspired by meeting with Dylan, and only lap steel performance ever on a Beatles for Lennon. He might have played it with a shotgun shell. Who knows? He's trying to get a honky-tonk feel that Harrison wanted. But for me, it just didn't work. I thought Ringo's drumming was fantastic, and that's going to be kind of a theme on this album for him. But yeah, not much for me.
This song is one I've never really been a fan of on doing the rankings. My opinion didn't change here.
No, mine didn't either.
Feels a bit uninspired here, especially with the great tunes that George has been pumping out since Rubber Soul. I think this is one of his worst post Rubber Soul, and the vocals just weren't really there for me. Didn't really work. But what you got at number 9?
I got one after 909.
Hey, right here, same.
Written by Lennon, probably in 1957, maybe 1960. It sounds like it was written in. It's not a bad song at all. In 1980, Lennon explained, that was something I wrote when I was about 17. I lived at 9 Newcastle Road. I was born on the 9th of October. It's just a number that follows me around. Nice piano and drumming. The guitar's fantastic. Like I said, not a bad song, but easy number 9 here for me. No pun intended.
Definitely, and I think when you were talking earlier about McCartney wanting to get back to the roots, or back to the live, it does have that youthful exuberance of that early rock and roll style that you'd expect from songs of the day. Lively keyboards, but just not strong enough to get any higher on my list.
No, what do you got at number 8?
I got Dig a Pony here.
So do I. That's crazy.
Dang. Well, yeah, we're very in sync here. One of Lennon's weaker lyrics that he's penned in quite some time.
Well, Trey, he said it was, quote, a piece of garbage.
Yeah, so the man himself, we know, John's a bit harsh on his work, but he wasn't a fan of this. I think the star of this is Harrison with that guitar solo, and don't have too much more to add.
I don't either. Ringo has some nice drumming. It was recorded on the rooftop concert with someone holding up cue cards with the words. John just didn't care. Now on to my number 7, The Long and Winding Road. This was their final number 1 during the time that they were together. This is the version. Spector went back in and added a bunch of orchestral.
Get those strings going.
At first, McCartney didn't say anything about it. Later on, it's one of the 6 reasons why he sued for dissolution of the Beatles. Glenn Johns called it puke and uncharacteristic of the kind of arrangement that they would want. But, I like the song. It just, it's number 7 for me. What about you?
No, and I prefer the Let It Be Naked version, which I think is what Paul kind of, was kind of hoping the song would be like. I got it a couple spots higher, but I'll touch on it now. I got it at number 5.
Okay.
And
I can see that too.
Great lyricism in here. Paul is, I know we'll get to it later. I think he's far and away the MVP of this record, man. It's not a titan like Let It Be, the song is, but you get Paul at a piano, man. Usually magic is going to happen.
Real good.
My number 7 is going to be the other Harrison 2, I Me Mine. We have Harrison here touching on the ego in an intricate arrangement. I enjoyed the orchestral section actually on this tune. I don't think Spector's Wall of Sound kind of overdid it. I think it actually aided the song a bit, and this is one that actually leaves the listener wanting a little bit more. Wish it was a bit longer. I really enjoy the lyricism and how rowdy the chorus gets.
Yeah, it's funny you said it because the original recorded version was only 1:34 seconds. Spector went back in and repeated the second verse to give it a little bit of time. Obviously, the guitars are fantastic. I think Ringo's drumming is fantastic. This is your 7. It's my 6.
Nice.
So we got it. So what is your 6?
Yeah, my number 6 is going to be Get Back, a bluesy rocker in the vein of One After 909. The guitar lead from Lennon shows a bit of that spunkiness and blends well with a man we haven't touched on but need to, Billy Preston, who's all over this record on the organ and piano, and adds a nice dimension here. And I always get a kick whenever at the very end it's Lennon's like, I hope we pass the audition. I always just get a kick out of that, man. So a good song, might be in the top 3 for a lot of people, but lands at 6.
Lands at 5 for me, so we're
nice.
going fine. And I think the thing with this, you mentioned Billy Preston, is actually first credited to the Beatles with Billy Preston. The only song ever credited that way. Otherwise, it's always the Beatles. It actually debuted at number 1 on the UK charts. And the Spector, Trey, that's what you're hearing at the beginning and the end. That talk didn't actually happen. It was Spector putting it in there because he wanted the album version to seem different than the single version, even though it wasn't. So yeah, it's fine for me. It's number 5, and a lot of people will have it higher. I know your number 5, you already mentioned, is The Long and Winding Road. You already talked about it. So what is your number 4?
My number 4 is, I think, one of the more underrated tracks in the Beatles canon. I got Two of Us. I know you love this song, man. Just a song brimming with nostalgia, with the touch of melancholy here as well. I've always interpreted it as John and Paul looking back on their relationship. I know that Paul has said throughout the years that it was actually about him and Linda, but hey, man, a great song. You can interpret it however
you'll
you
score
want
points
to.
with the wife at the time if you say that, for sure.
And here it's one of those instances later on in the Beatles' career where John and Paul's harmonies, they're back tag teaming in action, and they're just so lovely, man. Love this tune.
Yeah, and they sang it into one microphone, Trey, like the good old days. I think that's why it sounds like it did. Love the harmonies, love the guitars, love all of it. What I don't like is a snippet that Spector added in it. It didn't need to be there.
Oh, yeah. One of those Spector things that you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's higher up for me, but that's all I got to say about there. It's one of my favorite Beatles tunes. My number 4 is I've Got a Feeling. Just a powerful, powerful McCartney performance here. Started the B-side, recorded during the rooftop concert. Combination of those 2 unfinished songs, of course, McCartney's I've Got a Feeling and Lennon's Everybody Had a Hard Year. Features Preston on the electric piano. It's their first full and equal collaboration since 1967's Baby You're a Rich Man. Just a fantastic song, and my number 4.
Yeah, that's my number 3 here. Okay. Another stellar Paul and John team up, man. And got a shout out, as you did, Dad. Billy Preston just kills it on the piano. And though the song is really dominated by Paul, I think that the Lennon portion is one of my favorites on the record. His delivery here is so cool, laid back, exudes a chill factor that I really enjoy. You just feel like the whole song's building up to when Lennon finally comes in, and then their voices blend. It's just the cherry on top at the end, man. So great tune.
Number 3, I got Across the Universe, a song that Lennon said was maybe his best, most poetic lyrics. He said that in 1970. He might have changed that as time went along, as John tended to do. First released as a single for the World Wildlife Fund, the original WWF, Trey. Added animal sounds and stuff on that. This version is really, really good. I know a lot of people might have this version at number 1. John did say later on he didn't like the way it came out. He took some shots at Paul, which, you know, I mean, that's what he did a lot of times. But he said that they spent all this time cleaning Paul's up, and he felt like they just threw this one out
didn't
there.
give it the...
But I think it's fantastic. It's my number 3.
No, yet again, we're just one off on these.
Okay.
I got it at number 2 on my list. It's got a bit of a otherworldly type of feel to it. No pun intended with the name Across the Universe.
Right.
I mean, hey, even the NASA has beamed this song out into space, which is yet another cool kind of feather in the Beatles' cap, just culturally and worldwide. I do think they are some of Lennon's best lyrics. This whole song seems a bit foreign to the rest of the theme and sound of the record. A bit of air of positivity that, hey, nothing's going to change my world, that the love and light is going to see me through the hardships, man. So really dig this one, and that's why it's coming in at my 2. What's your 2?
I already said my 2. My 2 is Two of Us. So,
there we go.
Trey, I'm not a genius, but I figured out we have the same number 1. Number 1 is Let It Be. Now, look, I know this thing's been overplayed. I hear a lot of Beatles fans. I'm sick of hearing it. But I'll tell you what, when you're doing a ranking video and you got to sit down and listen to them and really gauge them objectively, this is far and away for me the best song on here. I don't care if it's been overplayed. Actually debuted on the U.S. chart at number 6, highest debut at that point ever on the chart. Went to number 1. The Mother Mary is not about the Mother Mary of the Bible. Paul actually said he had a dream during the White Album sessions about his mom. His mom died of cancer when Paul was only 14. That's what it's about. But Trey, this song
Paul loves to tell that story, man.
He does love to tell that story, and it's fantastic, man.
Oh yeah, it was one of the best piano tunes I think there's been, man. The melody is just top-notch
So
McCartney. The lyricism is timeless. It touches across, I think, generations, and is just an anthem to simply let it be, to keep pushing on through life, whatever tragedies and triumphs may come your way. I think that organ from Preston and lead guitar by George tied the song together as a lyrical and musical peak right here, man. I think this is a clear number 1 for me too.
I agree. And so now we get to the, when we first brought this review out, check out our track by track review after this. We did that a couple years ago. This is an album I know takes a lot of heat from Beatles fans. I don't like all the snippets. I don't like the stuff that Spector did. But when you pull all that out, this is still a fantastic album. It's just when you're comparing the Beatles to the Beatles, that's why it's a little tough. But I still think it's a fantastic album. For me, it's probably like a 7.5.
I'd be in that range too.
Because there's some stuff on here that's not great, but the great stuff is really, really great for me. So I think don't hate on it too much, Beatles fans. There's still some greatness in here.
Yeah, and we already touched on it. I think pretty clear album MVP has got to be McCartney on here. The most dominant, had the kind of the biggest singles off this.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this is not the most dominant performance on any album by any Beatle, because I'll tell you what, if Paul wasn't here, this album would have been nothing.
Yeah, been a little shaky.
It was fantastic. John, by this time, I already talked about in the beginning how he just wanted to hang out with Yoko. He was pretty much checked out by this point for the most part. So without Paul, maybe the first couple albums, John had this kind of dominant performance because he was older and was really carrying things. But I'll tell you what, an absolute dominant performance by McCartney, bar none.
And of course, we would love to hear your rankings. Be sure to leave a comment down below what you are ranking them, and what are your thoughts on Let It Be? Do you think it is one of their weaker efforts, or are you a big fan of it? Fan of it. And next time, Dad, Abbey Road.
Abbey Road, man, we're going to finish this journey off in the right way.
Really looking forward to that one. I'm sure that's gonna be a tough task. Spark some healthy debate as well.
Sure.
Always fun doing these, Dad. And I guess that'll wrap it up from us today.
That's it, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in.
And until next time, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see you.